Hello everyone, so I'm back with this new video where we are going to discuss this article in the Hindu newspaper, which is about improving the capabilities of the Indian state. So actually this article is talking about mainly the bureaucracy in India and what are the challenges that is facing, as well as suggesting some of the other reforms which can be done. So yes, this article is mainly important for your GS2 governance and also GS4 ethics. So there you can use this. There are 5 to 6 major points which are very nice, and you can definitely quote them. Okay, so let's start it. First of all, the article is starting it by saying that there are numerous when we are living in an urban area especially. So if we have to set up some business or some startups, anything like that, our own business there, then if we see it from bureaucratic perspective, then we have to take a lot of licenses. We have to have a lot of clearances. We have to ask for a lot of permissions, lot of permits we require. So to start a business, there are so many things which has to be done, that these become inhibiting factors instead of becoming facilitators. So instead of being the facilitator, instead of helping in improving the ease of doing business, it is what it is doing. It is inhibiting, and the business, even at the initial stage, is not able to take up. So that is a major issue it is talking about, and it is starting by it at least. Then it is moving on to say that where we have a lot of these things requirements to do certain things, at the same time we do not have the required strength of the personals, especially the civil servants. They are very low in number, very less in number. So in that context, it is compared it with China and Indonesia, where we have, if we compare it with India, then India has only half of what Indonesia and China have, and it is only third of what UK has. So see, we are definitely lacking in numbers. We have to have a good strength in that case. Then it is not only just that we are lacking in civil servants cases, but we are also lacking in terms of doctors, judges, police, teacher, etc. So we see what WHO recommends is one doctor for every 1,000 people, but we are not still following this. While in judges case, a law commission recommends it to be 50 per million, while what we have is 20 per million. So these are some things you can cite to show that yes, we are lacking in numbers. Then again, so yes, a lot of things to do, but not the required personals are there. This is the paradox. What it is there, the article is showing that. Then it is also saying that our text to GDP ratio or our expenditure to the GDP ratio is very less. Expenditure to GDP ratio less means what? It means that we are spending less, and when we are spending less, that is when the government is spending less. It means what? We will be having a bit less for the vulnerable sections, because we are not able to take up a lot of welfare schemes and all through, if we are not spending, right? So we need to spend, but if it is not happening, that's a concern. So yes, that is one major thing. Then it is also saying that the state do not have adequate capabilities, because for example, we do not have the required skills, and when we do not have the required skills, we have to outsource this from the private sector, and when we are outsourcing it from private sector, then we have to spend, we have to give money to them, and hence our expenditure is unnecessarily increasing just because we do not have the required skills in the public sector. So that is a cause of concern. Again, then it is saying that to have that inclusive development, what we need is a good amount of public spending, right? Just as we said here that sorry it's here, expenditure to GDP ratio is need to be improved to have proper inclusive development, right? If we see that state is not performing well, whether it is in terms of child and maternal mortalities, it is in terms of learning outcomes, firm productivity, traffic conditions, crime rates, so the public sector is not doing too good. That is the thing the article is signifying. Then other thing is important, important point it is pointing out is that what happens in India is the policy making work and the implementation work, both of the works are done by the same department. Only one department is taking up the work, and hence the efficiency is not coming. The issues which need to be come out, they are not coming out. So for example, let's say this is the policy work, and here we have implementation work. What happens when we segregate the roles? Like this work is done by some ministry, is framing the policies and all, and the implementation work is done by other ministry. Let's take an example like Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, while the implementation work is done by NHAI, National Highways Authority of India. So when this is happening, we have segregated the roles. When this implementation agency is not doing its work properly, maybe not effectively doing or whatever, any issues if there are, then this ministry can at least point that out and hold them accountable. They can hold them responsible. So that accountability, responsibility is what comes with it. So these are the parameters of good governance. So we can ensure good governance like this. So this is the one thing we have to focus on, that we should try to segregate the the roles. And the best thing they have said that the good example, as I said, was about this National Highways Authority, and because of that we have been able to reduce delays and cost outruns. Then one more thing it is saying that the जो front line workers होते हैं, we are not putting enough trust on them to decide on the implementation related issues. And when that is done, so since we are not delegating it properly on them, we are not trusting them properly, so the accountability again is missing, and that poor implementation which happens, there is no person accountable for that. So we have to treat that as well. Then the next thing it is saying is we are lacking in the technological skills. As technology is improving nowadays, we need to have personals who are at least decent enough to understand the technology and use it for the betterment of the country and its works and in the governance, right? So but what we see, what happens is top policymakers are there who do not have adequate skills, who are not trained enough to make the best use of technology. So because of that, we have to hire some private workers, and for that, as per the article, it is said over 500 crore is what we are spending to hire that skilled workforce to do that work, which could have been done by the policymakers had they been good enough in that work. Had they been trained at least in that, they could have been better person to do that, and there was no need to spend a lot on this. But we are doing that, and the money is going, which could have been spent on welfare schemes or capex. So that is not again happening. So we are losing out definitely, right? Then what comes is, just wait. Okay. Next it is saying, so yes, here also it is suggesting that we can, for this thing to work out, we can have lateral entries where we can it will provide some expertise. The expertise which is required is what can be provided through lateral entry in the civil services. Also, subject specific training can be given under Mission Karmyogi, which is a capacity building program, right? Then next it is saying that also we are lacking in the numbers in case of other regulatory bodies like SEBI, RBI, where in SEBI we have only 700 or 800 personals, I think. Yeah, 800, while in US it is, the number is 4500. Okay, then while in RBI may we have 7000, US Federal Reserve may it is 22,000. So we are definitely lacking in the staff, right? So this is again a problem. Then another problem it is highlighting is that the CAG audits which are done are very narrow, they are done in very narrow sense and very rigidity ke saath they are being done. The flexibility is not provided to civil servants. What does it mean is that so it means that if any civil servant it does not follow a particular procedure because they want the work to be they want work should be done in a fast manner and effectively, so they thought that some of the procedures can be skipped and just directly they can do the work. So that flexibility which they think is they do have, they actually do not have. And the CAG will, when they will audit, they will point that out, they will ask the questions regarding that, and they are not giving the civil servants that liberty to take such kind of discretion to work efficiently. And when that is done, the civil servants become inhibiting towards such, they become restrictive, they become averse towards taking that discretionary decisions. So yes, so this is what you can cite in ethics, that discretionary policy matters हम exercise नहीं कर पाते. We cannot exercise our discretion in a lot of policy matters. So yes, one thing is this. So we have to provide them that flexibility that they can focus on the better implementation of the policies. Then next thing it is saying that yes, the civil servants who are retired civil servants are being given appointments later on, and that doubts their independence, that doubts their neutrality, that puts up the scope of political manipulation to use their office in public interest and then paying them in terms of appointments in some regulatory bodies. So that to tackle that as well, it is saying that we need to have some higher age limit, upper age limit, absolute limit should be there on all institutions, right? So next it is saying public versus private sector. So it is saying that public sector, that everyone wants to have government job, and you definitely know the reasons as well. Sorry. So because public sector jobs have, or government jobs have stability, you will not be fired unnecessarily and without any reason. You will not need to even keep your work up to some standards. There are no standard related works. You are paying good enough, payment is good enough. Then other benefits are there related to pension, etc., health benefits, etc., so all that. But in the private sector it is not the case. So government jobs are the lucrative ones, and since they have become that much lucrative that it is even becoming prone to corruption. How? You must have heard about Rajasthan. It is happening in other states as well, but Rajasthan is very famous for it, that is paper leaks. Paper leaks are happening very frequently in Rajasthan, because of which the bright student suffers. They have to suffer a lot. They cannot get into the list, while the other people who are just getting the seats by buying the paper and then getting into the jobs. So this corruption is what, ये जो निकल के आ रहा है corruption, this is coming through the government jobs का जो that बहुत ही उनके towards जो love है that everyone wants to have, तो वो corruption breed कर रहा है. So that corruption, if you want to just done away with that, then if you want to get rid of that, then what you have to do is you have to have decent salary hikes and all, which we do like through 6th or 7th pay commission. So these pay hikes and all should be done in a moderate manner. Then public sector salaries also are much higher than private wages, so ये भी moderate किया जाना चाहिए, so that people are more open towards private sector jobs as well. And we have to have better economic growth, जिसकी वजह से jobs will be created, and that people will also be open to take up those jobs. So these all the things which should be done. And yes, many a times money minded people are also gone into the government jobs or social sector driven jobs, while they actually do not have any intention to do any social work. They are just money minded. So those kind of people can be eliminated if we make the government jobs at par in terms of incomes and all, at par with private sector jobs. So yes, these are some of the problems and solutions which can be done to improve our governance system and provide good governance in our country. Right. So that's it for today. I hope you liked it. And बाकी रही बात comments like करने की, if you want to do it, I'm totally fine with it. Even if you don't do that. So chill. Bye.